Okay, dear creative people, are you ready to learn how to optimize your Pinterest account? Now you know what it is, and you know what Pinterest can do for your business, and you know that it's something that you want to be doing. Let's talk about how you can make it the best resource for other people and to attract as many viewers as you possibly can and to get as much engagement as you possibly can. And there are definitely some great tips and tricks that I'm going to tell you about when we go through this section. So listen carefully, pause when you need to, and don't forget you can always ask questions on the website and also in our Creative Juice Facebook page. Okay, the first thing you really want to focus on is to update your profile. If you're anything like me, when you start one of these crazy newfangled applications like I did when Pinterest was coming out, I didn't spend a lot of effort or time on my profile page. I just sort of clicked the links, wrote what I needed to write, and then moved on. But your profile is very important for new users, new people to your account. New possible customers. You want to be as clear and as friendly and show as much of who you are and what your company is all about in that profile. And you've got to do it briefly and quickly. So this is a great time for carefully chosen words and brevity. The first thing is that you want to make sure that your business, your profile name is clear and that if you only go by your business name, go ahead and put your business name on there. If you're known by your personal name, put your personal name on there. You can see, and I spoke about this earlier, that I use both because I'm known by both. And I started on Pinterest back when it was in its beta testing, and obviously I was just Margot Madison at that point. And I was pinning my invitation work. So you definitely want to make sure that your name is very clear and what you do is very clear. Then you're going to go into your profile description. Make sure that you've got a link to a website. If you do not have a website, go ahead and put a link to maybe your Facebook page, if you have a Facebook page, just somewhere where someone might be able to get more information if they were interested and wanted more information about you. Make it super easy for them to get that. Pinterest does recommend using your location as in your profile. I think it's probably because if people are looking specifically for artists in Cincinnati, for instance, Pinterest can use the content and the words that you've used in your profile as a search feature. So they recommend using a location. So go ahead and do that, and then talk about what your boards are going to be about, what your business is about, and truly think about it from the perspective of if someone were just landing on there. Let's say they found a pin, they were really intrigued by it, and now they were curious about what you and your business are all about. Give them a very easy and simple review of what it is. If you sell homemade skirts, say, I sell homemade skirts, and describe what those skirts are. Just make sure you're very clear and very friendly. And the way you're going to edit your profile is by clicking that little gear nut in the upper left-hand side of of your profile page. You can click that, and then you can go through and start editing your content. And don't do it yet. There's going to be some more information coming down the road here in these videos and tutorials to make sure that you're editing them with really intentional language and words that will be good for your business. The next thing you want to do is definitely play the game, man. Make boards, make pin boards, pin things to them, pin from within Pinterest, pin from other websites, pin from your own website and blog. And this is important to note that this is a really good reason if you were on the fence about whether you needed your own website or web presence. If you're going to have a presence on Pinterest, you can pin from your website. They won't let you pin, for instance, if you're just posting things onto your Facebook business page or your Facebook personal page. Um, Pinterest and Facebook don't get along. So you can't pin from Facebook. You can only pin from a website or a blog. So this is another really good reason to have your own web presence because you're going to pin from there. You're going to use and leverage your expertise to inspire and help other people. Remember in the previous video, I talked about how you would use it personally. And one of the ways you would use it personally is by looking up information, looking up tutorials. Those all come from experts. And you may or may not believe this or not, but you're an expert in what you do. If you're a watercolor artist, you're an expert in watercolor. You're an expert in colors. You're an expert in brushes. You're an expert in papers. You're an expert in, the greatest places to go do outdoor plein air painting. Use that expertise to inspire other people to do it. And so in this example, we're looking at Sin Thomas, who I believe is our pinner there. I'm not reading this, but Sid. Oh, it's Sid. So Sid has a whole Pinterest board on cocktail recipes. And these are where she's pinning from her own website. And if she's very good, she will also pin from other websites that would probably be good to share with other people. And note what she says. This is another important thing to remember in your optimizing of your Pinterest account, is that you want to make sure you're using the title of your pin boards as clearly as possible. If they're for personal use, you can name them whatever. You can call it Julia's Room Ideas. But if it's for your business, be very clear and specific about it. Because again, Pinterest is using the words that you type as a way to help other people find you. So you don't want to be too obtuse about your language. So in this one, she's called it cocktail recipes. What a great idea, because inside this pin board are cocktail recipes. And then in her description, which you also want to definitely include in your Pinterest boards, she writes a collection of cocktail, mocktails, non-alcoholic drink recipes, and more. My favorite cocktail, a classic Hendrix and tonic with plenty of lime. Yum. She's putting a little personality into it, and she's also being very specific about the words that she uses. So definitely remember that you need to use your expertise to inspire other people. That will encourage a lot of engagement for you. In that same realm, you want to offer your expert advice. So this is an example of a Pinterest board from a creative juicer who happens to own a beautiful villa in Italy. And she has several boards, and one of which says outings really close. She's helping people who are planning their vacation, who may have never been to this specific area. Karen knows exactly what fantastic places to go to and how to make the trip really fun. She's an expert in this area. So here she has all of the lists of places that someone might want to go if they were staying in her villa. And so that's another great way to offer your expert advice. Some of these pins did not come from her website. A lot of them came from other websites, other travel blogs. It is not critical that you only pin your own stuff. As a matter of fact, it's important that you spread the wealth through other experts and advice, and that I think that karma is going to come back to you from Pinterest as well. Another way that you can use Pinterest is to collect products that actually help your customers. So let's go back to the example of someone who is a watercolor artist. Perhaps you're going to have a page that is all about your favorite watercolor suppliers. And maybe it's the the places that you order. If you order from Dick Blick online, you're going to pin the specific papers that you love, or the specific sketchbooks that you love, the specific paintbrushes that you love, and literally like where to buy them. It's not just like a list making. It's find it online. It can be helpful to you, and it's going to be helpful to other artists and other people who are also interested in watercolor. And before you know it, now you're an expert in that tactic just by collecting your thoughts and your ideas and putting them on your Pinterest page. This example that I'm showing here is called Gray Spot Mitzvah, and this is a unique way that I use Pinterest for my invitation business. And that is that when I collaborate with a client who is obviously having a big event, and that's why they need the invitation, Pinterest is a fabulous place to collaborate. So what will happen is I will suggest, if the client hasn't already done it, that we start a collaborative Pinterest board. and it's going to be shared by different people who can also pin to it. For instance, the florist may get an invitation to pin to this board, or the like I will, and then the client will pin to it, and everybody can take a look at what's happening. And we're doing it from a standpoint of photos and from pictures. So when a client used to tell me, "Oh, our colors are, pink and silver," well, there's about a million pinks going on in the world. And for me to really understand which pink that client is talking about, I can say, go ahead and pin some inspirational ideas, pin the colors that you like onto our Pinterest board, and I can look at that and use that information from an aesthetic point and from a very specific color point too. So it's a great collaborative process that you can use if you are a service provider, especially if you're a service provider in an industry that has several people coming in to contribute to one particular event or one particular project. It's a great way to use that too. Now, I'm going to stop here for a second because keywords are a really big deal in Pinterest, and it's something that is really going to be your greatest tool in your box of tools for Pinterest success. So I'm going to pause here and start this keyword section in the next video to make sure that you get all that goodness, good information in about keywords, and I'll see you when you're ready to take that on.